All right, I would like to call the Town Board meeting for March 27th to order. If you all please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The clerk could not make it tonight, so I will be acting as the clerk. We'll do roll call. Councilman Schuback.
Here.
Councilman Mattingly.
Here.
Supervisor Dwyer is present. Councilman D'Angelo.
Here.
Councilman Cole.
Here.
All are present. I make a motion that we accept the regular meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I make a motion that we pay all audited bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Correspondence is listed as addendum number 1. Does anybody have any discussion on the correspondence? No? We'll go right into our department head reports, beginning with Police Chief John Rader.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I just have a couple brief items to bring out tonight. First is, now that winter's coming to an end, on behalf of the police department, I want to extend our appreciation to all the hard work the DPWs did this past winter to keep our roads safe and open. They're the unsung heroes in this town, and they often take the brunt of frustrations. The reality is emergency services cannot respond safely until they clear the roads. We truly appreciate the work that they do every day, especially in dangerous conditions. Now that spring is here, they'll be on the roads doing their repairs and maintenance. We ask all drivers to use caution when approaching them and their work zones. This also applies to the volunteers who will soon begin cleaning up the litter on the side of the roadways, and our officers will be assisting with traffic control while they're working. Walt, I know Ben's not here. If you could extend that to him and to all the workers down there, that we do appreciate your work. We're starting the planning process for our annual summer events, which includes the Junior Police Academy, National Night Out, and at least one coffee with a cop. I know there's a board resolution tonight to accept the bids for 2 vehicles that were surplus this year due to the cost of the repairs being more than the value of the vehicles. I just want to thank Lieutenant Morley for the work he puts in each year to make sure that we receive the most return we can through GovDeals. And as a reminder to the public, we have a prescription medication collection bin in our lobby for any solid unused drugs, and we highly recommend that if you no longer need them in your house, please drop them off here. We have the method to safely dispose of them.
Great.
That's the end of my report, unless there's anything from the board.
Any questions for the chief? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Let's see. Foreman Schultz, you're up, please, sir.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello.
As far as duties that we did, we repaired catch basins on 2 of them in Almond Tree Lane. Tree work, we cleaned up after the storm damage. Winstanley Park took down 3 dead trees that were overhanging the ball fields. 40 Iron Mountain Road, we took down dead trees there. Brush roadside on Sanfordville Road and Miller's Lane. The parks, they are staffed and they're doing their spring cleanup. Bathrooms will be open on April 1st. They removed all the guardrail down at Airport and they're starting to replace it with the new wooden one. Potholes, we sent a couple guys out with coal patch, just town-wide, wherever we had calls and everything else. We're hauling material to the stockpile, some road grit left that's budgeted in, and 3/4 stone. Road signers were replaced as they were needed with Anthony. Road sweeping, we did intersections and are starting to do developments now. And then we helped the water department the other day on a curb box on Lakeshore Road. That's it. Okay.
Thank you, Wally. Yep. Water and Sewer, Deputy Commissioner McPherson.
Good evening. We are making sure all of our plants are being checked and logs are being completed daily, preventative maintenance being done, all of the samples are being collected on time, all of regulatory reporting is being completed on time. An update for the Pine Island well. We finally have approval from the State Health Department to connect the new water source to the system. This project we began 5 years ago in 2020. So it's obviously taken longer than we would have hoped to get to this point. We understand the frustrations of the residents from the system, but it's nice to finally see the work on this coming together. With that, this new water source will hopefully improve the quality of water for that system greatly, and we can stop sending everyone iron and chloride violations. We're pricing equipment currently to install well pump and the remaining equipment needed to turn that well online. For the wastewater treatment plant, myself and the guys have been out going door to door in the Wickham Village area trying to collect as many of the income surveys as we can for the wastewater treatment plant upgrade. For the people that have not completed their surveys, we've been leaving the surveys on the door of the addresses that are not responding. We are still short surveys of our goal. Without those, we're very limited on grant money that we will be able to receive for upgrading the facility, so we're urging people to please return them or fill them out online. Our guys are also out reading meters into next week. They'll continue to be out going house to house in the Wickham Village area, Uric Heights area, and the Belleville Park area. And then, again, we'll begin working on the summer system in Greenwood Lake over the next coming weeks. The guys will be out turning on water and closing valves in Indian Park and Furnace Brook, and we're aiming for that system to be online April 15th. And that concludes my report.
Any questions for Matt? Thank you, Matt. Rec Director Walter.
Thank you, Supervisor. My report is mainly about Mountain Lake Park. We recently had the Boy Scout Troop 38 camp out over at the park. They did spend about 3 to 4 hours cleaning up garbage around the park and also trimming back the trails, which is really great. So a big thank you to the scout leaders and scouts from Troop 38. Just an update on the bunkhouses. The electrical work upgrade is done. We're looking to get the water turned on and the plumbing done as well. Once that's done, we'll be able to clean a lot better and get the bunkhouses open for the season. We want to thank the DPW for coming out and taking down a very, very large tree. Counts for like 4 trees, but big dead ash tree that was really close to one of the bunks and losing a lot of limbs. So thanks for coming out to take care of that tree. Just a few reminders on upcoming events. April 1st is registration for summer swim lessons, and pool passes go on sale at Town Hall at 9 a.m. Residents can also purchase their fishing passes. Those, I think, are available now. April 5th from 2 to 5 is a community dance party at the park, Mountain Lake Park Lodge, and it will benefit the cats of the Iron Horse Sanctuary in Goshen. April 7th is pickleball registration for summer pickleball clinics, and that's at the park at my office, the recreation office. April 13th is a pancake breakfast. That's a fundraiser for Boy Scouts Troop 45 at the park. And then April 26th is Odyssey of the Minds Music Festival at the park, and that will benefit the club Odyssey of the Minds that calls the park home. So a lot of events happening on the weekends at the park, getting super busy. The lifeguard job fair was a great success. We had probably about 23 people come out for the fair. Some were certified, some weren't. Some were just curious to see what it was all about. So we believe we're going to hire about 8 new guards just from the fair. So I was glad that we did it. Yep, that concludes my report.
Great. Any questions for Sam? Thank you,
No?
Sam.
Okay.
All right, we're going to move right into our town board reports, beginning with Councilman D'Angelo.
Okay, good evening. From the Humane Society, they asked that I pass this information on to you. The Animal Control responded Sunday night to a call for a stray thin cat foaming at the mouth with neurological issues. 2 people tried to help the cat without protective gloves and were exposed to her saliva. She was a 16-year-old community cat who was provided with food and shelter and wandered in and out of people's apartments, but was not vaccinated against rabies. She was brought to the vet, and because of her condition, she was humanely euthanized. They reached out to the Orange County Health Department, who agreed to have her tested for rabies. Fortunately, her result was negative. And just a word of warning, be sure to wear gloves when trying to help an injured animal, and community cats should be up to date with rabies vaccinations for their protection and protection of the public. Currently, the shelter's caring for 15 dogs, 115 cats, 61 rabbits, 3 guinea pigs, 23 parakeets, and 36 chickens if you need a pet. And the wish list is paper towels, paper plates, newspapers, large dog biscuits, churros for cats, 13 and 33-gallon unscented garbage bags, and $5 ShopRite cards. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilman Cole, your report, please.
Thank you. Last week, week before last now, we went up on the bike and hiking trail to inspect the progress of the construction there, and looks like everything's going pretty good. A couple of wet spots, but I think we could put some stone there for that. I also went with the town supervisor, Ben Astorino, myself. We went and looked at the tennis courts in the Pine Island Park. They need to be redone. There's a crack, it's built on black dirt so that it's settled. There's a crack right inside one of the foul lines, so that's gonna have to be redone. Hopefully when the asphalt plant opens up soon, that'll be done in a timely fashion. And as I mentioned in the last meeting, there's gonna be new cameras installed. We had met with the Warwick gardeners, and they were talking about the possibility of adding a camera to cover the pollinator park, because they had some problems there. Some kids were pulling up the rubber liner for the water feature that was there. I did talk to the company who has the bid for installing the cameras, and he agreed to add an additional camera there at no extra charge. I thought that was very good of him, because it's a long run out, and his run quite a bit of wire out to do it. But the new cameras, they should be able to pick up things that the existing ones won't, and it's going to be connected to the police department, as I mentioned last time. That's all I have right now.
Great, thank you. Councilman Mattingly, your report, please.
Thank you, Supervisor Dwyer. Joined the Warwick Valley Chamber of Commerce for an after-hours mixer at Legoland Skyline Bar in Goshen on April 3rd. That's Thursday, April 3rd. Enjoy delicious food, cash bar, and most importantly, networking with business colleagues, old friends, and new connections. That's at number 1 Legoland Way in Goshen on Thursday, April 3rd from 5:30 to 7:30. Also join the Warwick Valley Chamber for Lunch and Learn with Lauren Mask at the Village Hall on Thursday, April the 10th from noon until 1:30. Lauren Mask will provide a 1-hour workshop, Leader Philosophy, My Leadership Compass. Participants will craft their authentic leadership philosophy and clarify their values, expectations, and leadership approach. Operation Clean Sweep in the Village of Warwick is on Saturday, April 26th from 9 a.m. until noon. The Village of Warwick is celebrating Earth Week once again with Operation Clean Sweep. From April 20th through April 26th, the Chamber office will have garbage bags and gloves available for pickup so you and your community can clean up our neighborhoods. Join the Greenwood Lake Chamber of Commerce for their spring mixer on Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025 from 6 until 9 p.m. at Murphy's, located at 85 Windermere Avenue in Greenwood Lake. Admission is free for members and $10 for non-members. And finally, the Village of Florida will hold its Easter egg hunt on Saturday, March 29th. That's this Saturday at 11:30 at the Seward Mapes House. The rain date is Sunday, March 30th. Join the Florida Chamber of Commerce at the Seward Mapes Homestead for a special visit from the Easter Bunny, an Easter bonnet contest that will be judged on creativity and originality, crafts, jelly bean counting contest, and Easter basket prizes for finding the golden egg. And that is all I have for this evening, Supervisor.
Very good, thank you. Councilman Schuback, your report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I just want to remind everyone, it's that time of year again through Pine Island, Florida. You're going to see a lot of farm equipment out there. Please be mindful. These equipment is only doing 15 miles an hour. And, you know, the one thing I do see, which is sometimes a problem, if someone's trying to pass the equipment, they'll just fly right by and won't slow down. By law, you're supposed to come up behind the piece of equipment, pace with them for a few seconds, and then safely go around. Don't try to just shoot around them like 50, 60 miles an hour, because I've seen people almost get killed because of that. If the equipment was trying to make a left and they trying to pass at the same time, it could become very dangerous. That's all I have to say.
Great, thank you. All right, my report. Begins with grants and project updates. Airport Park is currently undergoing the construction of a new playground at Airport Park. The company has started this morning. The DPW did a great job setting up all the site work for the project. The installation of the park should be completed by the end of next week, and that park will actually be getting a rubberized matting system underneath it that is not only ADA compliant, but it'll be better for kids to be running on. It doesn't require any maintenance, doesn't require mulching, doesn't require any labor or annual maintenance to be done on that. So that will take another probably a week or two once the completion of the actual playground is complete, then about another week or two for the rubber matting installation. So in a few weeks, the Airport Park neighborhood, which is open to all residents of the town of Warwick, will have a brand new playground and a new park, new swing set. And last year we paved the basketball courts there. They'll be striped as soon as striping companies are doing striping. They're not doing it yet. Mountain Lake Park Pool, we are pushing this off to the fall, the construction of the new pool. We did solicit bids. We don't think we got enough bids where we're going to accept anyone. So we're going to continue to accept bids on the construction of the Mountain Lake Park Pool, and we're also working with the Department of Health on the permitting of that. We don't want to start construction of this pool in the middle of the summer. We want everybody who purchases a pass to the pool to be able to enjoy peace and quiet and not listen to jackhammers and excavators. So we're going to push that off until the end of the season. The bike hike project, which Councilman Cole mentioned, is well underway. He and I took a hike on this trail the other day, and it was a really beautiful trail that I would also say is probably good for all abilities, right, Russ, would you say? I mean, it was a pretty easy...
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't
Yeah.
hard to get around.
Yeah, so it's going to be great for everybody in the town to go hike this trail. It's a trail system that will link the Hickory Hills Golf Course at Orange County Park with Cascade Road. And I think it's about a 2.5 mile trail, and it'll be really easy and a nice addition to the town park system. Jane Street Bridge, we are moving at a snail's pace with this because, again, this is a state-funded, grant-awarded project, and just like any other, you have to follow every single procedure that the state sets, and nothing is easy when you're working with state money. Right now, we're at the phase of selecting a design engineer. We've got a design engineer that we're going to enter into an agreement with, and they will begin the design work for this project. That project will then go out to bid in the winter, right? And then hopefully begin construction early next year, spring, summer of next year. That's the goal, that's the target. If we were using town money for this, the project would have already been completed, but we got state funding for 99.5% of this entire project, so we have to work at their pace. Transformation Trails, this is a project that the town's been working on for a couple of years. It is the project over at the prison property to convert the fenced-in area just outside of the Fox Sports Complex. There's 2 fences, and in between there was an incredibly overgrown area, patch of woods, and the town and the DPW worked really hard to clear out that entire section, and we're going to apply for a grant to turn that into an arboretum, pollinator meadow, and a full amphitheater that we can have concerts right on the lake. So really nice addition to the park, nice addition to the prison property, and we're moving forward with that. We'll have really nice renderings on the website soon that will demonstrate to the public exactly what we're looking to do. Wickham Sewer District, as Deputy Commissioner McPherson mentioned, we are almost complete with our target of the income survey. I'm sure everybody in that district has gotten probably annoyed at this point, being peppered with these income surveys. And I had someone come into our office today and hand in one of the surveys and say, is this going to raise my taxes? And the answer to that is no. If you fill out the survey and get it to us, and that will help us qualify for grant funding. If we're unsuccessful in getting the income survey, then we won't qualify for grants, and guess what? We still have to do all the work that's needed at the Wickham Sewer District. So if you're still holding on to a survey, get it into us, get us the data. We need it to apply for grant funding. If we don't get them, we have to do the work either way. So we're almost done with that, and I appreciate the Water Sewer Department going out there and physically knocking on doors and trying to get people to comply with the income survey. I may have mentioned at the last town board meeting that the wildfire has met the threshold for for qualifying for FEMA reimbursement. The town of Warwick spent approximately $100,000 on police overtime and other costs, and we will be applying to FEMA for full reimbursement of all of those costs. So just wanted to keep the board apprised of that. Later tonight, you're going to hear multiple resolutions, but we are awarding the bid to 2 different contractors for the culvert replacement project, which is something we've been talking about for quite some time. This is a total cost of roughly $4 million for both the acquisition of the culverts as well as the infrastructure work that will be completed. I'm happy to announce that a local contractor, GCE, has actually won the bid. So it's very nice to see that we have qualified, competent, good local construction companies and contractors that can win big projects like that, because that's supporting our local economy here. And Mark is here tonight, and we're happy to have you here. So yeah, great work, guys. Another conversation that the town board and I had is on one of the big goals of ours is to be more transparent and create more open government and provide the public with more access to information. And we've seen that the planning board is an area where the public has so many questions and they want to see the progress of applications. They want to get more details on applications. They're constantly foiling information from the planning department and bogging down our staff to get access to information which they have a right to get. So what the town board has looked into is acquiring technology which will enable every single planning board application and every step along the way for each of those applications to be available to the public. Not only will they be available to the public, but it will streamline the application process for people and engineers and architects and professionals when they're submitting applications. Everything will be done online, and the entire process will be efficient. We will save time from our staff that's constantly working on photocopying, filing, answering questions, and we'll save time for applicants and the public, and we will give the public greater access to information which they are entitled to receive. The town board was very supportive of the concept, and we will be entering into an agreement tonight with MuniCollab, which is planning board software to grant access to the public for these services. And ultimately, this will save us money. Printing costs, ink costs, time, approximately 6 hours a week for every application that comes in is spent collating and putting files together, and that doesn't even factor in the time answering questions and handling FOIL requests that are coming in constantly. So very happy to report on that. I think it's going to be a great thing. I did want to report to the town board the status of the Old Forge application, which is something that's raised a lot of attention across the town. I'm mentioning it because it is Sterling Forest State Park is a very sensitive part of our town, part of our state, and part of our country. It's beloved by all of us. And there's an applicant that wants to change from a pre-existing college, but wants to continue as a college, except it will be a dormitory style college where approximately 200 people will be staying on campus. So it's a slight change from what was previously there. It is a permitted use in that zone. It is a permitted activity in that. Universities and colleges are allowed in that particular zone. They're not allowed across the entire town, but that one was an NYU Environmental Sciences building, and it will continue to be a college after this. So there is a public hearing on this application on April 16th. It hasn't formally been scheduled, but that is most likely when the public hearing will take place. That will be right here in Town Hall, and just like this meeting, it will be streamed on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and it'll be on Channel 21. You're welcome to come and attend and see and hear for yourself the application. The town planning board is reviewing several applications. This one happens to be driving a lot of public input and a lot of public comment, and I felt it was necessary for the town board to be aware of the situation, that the public is really interested in this particular application. I gave the board an update during our workshop on PDR, purchase of development rights, protection of open space. We've got one property that will be closing this year. We had one 200-acre parcel close last year, which we preserved forever. We will have another nearly 100-acre parcel of land closing this year, so that's staying consistent with at least one property every single year being preserved permanently through a permanent easement. We've got about 3 others in the pipeline right now that we're working on, so continuing the strength of the PDR program that has turned Warwick into the most desirable place to live in the entire county, and we're working really hard to make sure that we're continuing that program. The town board has recently spoke about the concept of amending our CPF law. Right now, it allows up to 10% of the fund to be spent on maintenance and management of parks and open space. As the town board and the town of Warwick has acquired much more parks and much more open space through the CPF fund, that has put a significant strain on our tax base, where we're using a lot of tax dollars to support these parks. What we're looking to do, as we are seeing a slowdown in eligible farms that are eligible for PDR, and as we see the increase in the number of parks and the costs of maintenance, the town board is looking at the idea of increasing from 10%, a maximum of 10% of the fund being used for the management and stewardship of the program in the parks and open space, to a maximum of 30% of the fund being used for the maintenance and management of parks and open space. Again, shifting from the tax base and from the taxpayers, taking money that comes in from the real estate transfer tax. And again, that's people that are moving into Warwick, buying a home, and paying 0.75% on that sale. And just a point of note, 20-something years ago when this whole concept was debated, the biggest opponents of this entire concept were the realtors, most of whom have become millionaires because of the number of people that have moved into Warwick buying homes. It has not slowed down purchasing of homes. The value of the homes in the town of Warwick as a direct result of PDR has increased dramatically. So it has been a home run of a program, highly successful, 5,000 acres preserved in the town of Warwick. This will allow us to pay for the cost of managing these parks, managing these properties, keeping them open space. This will help us do that and not use tax dollars to do it. The other concept that we want to include in this, which is something that I stole from the town of Southampton, was using 10% of the fund for water quality initiatives. This is MS4, which is an unfunded state mandate. We're obligated to perform all of these different things. We're actually in violation right now of MS4 requirements over the last several years that we're not able to meet because they're unfunded mandates from the state. They expect us to comply. If we can use CPF money to meet our water quality requirements, meet our MS4 requirements, that will be another way that we can use funds that are there from the real estate transfer tax instead of using tax dollars that are coming from an already struggling tax base. So those are things we're going to move through. The public will have more information on that as it comes up, but essentially the process is we will hold public hearings. We will have to change the CPF law that's on the books in the town code. We will have to get the state of New York to pass legislation signed by the governor that will amend our community preservation law, and it could potentially go out to public referendum where the town will have to vote in order to change this requirement in our code. So plenty of public information will go out. Everybody will have an opportunity. Democracy at its finest. Everybody will have a voice and everybody will have a vote. And the town will be able to decide, do they want to pay for these services through tax dollars, or do they want to pay for them with the people that are moving into Warwick and that are paying this real estate transfer tax anyway. As Recreation Director Walter mentioned, Mountain Lake Park passes are going on sale. The new thing that we did this year is active duty military and their families can get free Mountain Lake Park passes for the pool, and local veterans as well as local volunteer first responders can get 50% off of their Mountain Lake Park pool passes. That's a way that the town board is going to give back to the local volunteers in our community and those serving our country. Employment opportunities, we added a new section of our town website, townofwarwick.org, for employment opportunities. Anytime we have a job that's available in the town of Warwick, we want to make sure that we get the greatest number of applicants for that job. So right now, we've got a friendly visitor program coordinator that's available for a position part-time, lifeguards, and something new is a board of assessment review, which is kind of a complicated thing to talk about in a very short period of time. But if you have any questions or you would like to apply for a job, you can reach out to me anytime, supervisor@townofwarwick.org. That concludes my report at this moment. We will open it up to privilege of the floor on any agenda items. No? Okay. We'll go right into new businesses, which are the resolutions side of things. The lights are off in there. Thank you, Kev. It just got dark and I noticed the lights are off in the thing over there. All right, resolutions, where are we? All right, I make a motion granting permission of the following applicants to serve alcohol at the Town of Warwick Park's rental facilities. All applicants have filed a certificate of liability and liquor liability of insurance in the town clerk's office. One is dated April 26th, MLP permit number 37. The other is dated March 29th, MLP permit number 40.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to adopt a resolution granting approval for the Friends of Hathorn House to close Hathorn Road from the westerly-bound cemetery, Morehouse property, to the corner of County Route 1 on May 18th, 2025, from 2 o'clock to 7 p.m. for the purpose of hosting a special education living history event, Founder's Day. Application and certificate of insurance are on file in the clerk's office.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion granting approval to Heroes Indeed Incorporated for use of the town roads to hold Heroes Run, 5K, 10K, and Kids Run in memory of Lieutenant Colonel Jamie E. Leonard, to be held on Saturday, June 7th, 2025, from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Application and certificate of insurance are on file in the clerk's office.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to refund the remaining balance in the amount of $1,132.50 back to Planning Board applicants Ruby Randig and Mateo Prendergast as per the recommendation of the Planning Board Secretary, letter dated March 20th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to reclassify Orange County Humane Resource Position 90597, Building Maintenance Mechanic, from part-time to full-time. This will be a grade 6 position according to the CSEA collective bargaining agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I make a motion to appoint Edward Bolello as full-time building maintenance mechanic, grade 6, step 1, at $25.74 per hour as per the CSEA contract effective April 5th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to accept a proposal from Seal Pro Inc. to seal coat, crack and fill line stripe basketball court and mill and pave gap tennis and basketball court at the Pine Island Park in the amount not to exceed $2,600.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to accept the bid proposal from Seal Pro Inc. to prep and pave the Pine Island Park tennis court with hot asphalt in an amount not to exceed $34,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to adopt the following resolution, whereas Karina D'Alessandro, the owner, is the owner of the premises located at 181 Tower Lane within the town of Warwick, and whereas the owner applied for a driveway entrance with the town of Warwick Building Department and paid the permit application of $75 and a driveway entrance bond of $1,500 and a paving bond of $3,000 to install a driveway on a lot accessed from Tower Lane. Whereas Tower Lane is a private road and therefore pursuant to Town Code Section 79-1A, a driveway permit is not necessary. Now therefore it be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Warwick is hereby authorizes a refund of the permit application fee, driveway entrance bond, and paving bond totaling $4,575 back to the owner.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to accept bids for the following used town vehicles. 1997 Ford Econoline, $5,452. 2017 Ford Explorer, $2,325.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to authorize supervisor to sign an agreement with Munistat for municipal advisory services related to Town of Warwick's 2025 ban solicitations.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I make a motion to accept bid proposal from Expert Mechanical LLC for plumbing in Mountain Lake Park in an amount not to exceed $4,965.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to waive application rental fees at Wickham Woodland Manor House for the Orange County Municipal Planning Federation to hold their annual chairs meeting on May 14, 2025. Application is certificate of liability is on file with the clerk's office.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to accept the bid proposal from the following contractors for precast concrete structures not to exceed the amounts listed below for each project. Hoyt Road Culvert Replacement, A&R Concrete Products, $216,058.19. Cascade Road Culvert Replacement, LHV Precast Inc., $267,759.20. Ball Road Culvert Replacement for A&R Concrete Products LLC, $175,693.47. Pumpkin Hill Culvert Replacement for A&R Concrete Products LLC for $98,352.20.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to accept bid proposal from the following contractors to replace the existing culverts not to exceed the amounts listed below for each project. Hoyt Road Culvert Replacement, Ground Control Excavating Incorporated, $620,309.50. Cascade Road Culvert Replacement, Ground Control Excavating Incorporated, $677,992.55. Ball Road Culvert Replacement, Ground Control Excavating Incorporated, $746,607.80. Pumpkin Hill Road Culvert Replacement, Ground Control Excavating Incorporated, $459,512.18.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to accept the bid proposal from Ground Control Excavating to replace the existing retaining wall located on Old Ridge Road in the amount not to exceed $663,702.50.
Second.
All in favor for the $663,702.50.
Second. Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Sorry about that.
You almost got quite a deduction on that one, guys.
Motion to authorize the supervisor to sign an agreement with Archtop for storage of utility poles at town-owned property at a rate of $1,000 per month.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. That was a good one.
Motion to authorize the town supervisor to sign the Orange County Bus Operator Agreement from 2025 to 2030.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, at this time, we'll open it up to privilege of the floor on any general topic that might want to be discussed. Nothing? Okay. The next meeting will be Thursday, April 10, 2025, at 7 p.m. The workshop may begin as early as 5:30 p.m. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Aye.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.